Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about the flexible search queries, and we can check the flexible search queries in two places, right? One is in the HAC, another one is we can also execute the flexible search queries from the HAC and from code. So from HAC we were trying to practice some examples, right? So let's continue that. Okay, so let's continue that. So let me open the HAC. Okay, admin Nimda is the password. Okay, so yesterday we have seen these things, right? How to get all the records. So we have taken the example of product table. Let's use the same product table. So how to get all the records. So if I want to get the records in the Oracle, you write select star from products. In the Hybris, how do we write? So select star from product, and product you will be using in the bracket. How to get only specific columns, specific column data. So if you want to get the specific column data in Oracle, you will write product code comma product name, okay, from products table. Like this you will write in the Oracle. In Hybris, how do we write? Code comma, okay, name comma name from products. Like this we write. Okay, like this we write. So therefore, in case of Hybris, we use the item type. In case of Oracle statement, we use the table name. Okay, so this is what we have seen, right, yesterday. Then we also seen the how to get the localized attribute values. How to get the localized attribute values also we have seen yesterday. Okay, how to get the localized attribute value. So if I want to get the localized attribute value, let's take the name. I want in English and I want in the German. I want in English and I want in German, then we can use like this. Okay, next. So I told you we can use all math functions. We can use all math functions. For example, we can use all math functions. For example, what are the math functions we have? Min, max, average, count, all those math functions we can use. Let's see one example quickly. We can go to the flexible search query. Okay, we can go to the flexible search query. Okay, okay, select. Okay, star from product. So if I say select star from product, we are getting the products. And by default, it is giving 200. Just say something, execute here, max count. Then you will get more records. Okay, now you got all the records. You don't know how many records are there. So you can very well use the math functions. So count of. Okay, then it will tell how many records are there. So 4,414. That's what we have seen yesterday. Like this, we can use the math function. So let's say we have min of code. So we have the column called code, right? Product code we have. So I want to find out minimum of the product code. So this is the minimum of the product code. And I want to find out the maximum of the product code. And you can see this is the maximum of the product code. Like this, you can find out min, max, all those, or we can use all those math functions. That's what the meaning. Like this, we can use all the math functions. That's what the meaning. Next, I also told Similar like Oracle, we can also use where condition. We can also use where condition. With where condition, we can use many operators. Okay, we can use many operators. Like operator, okay, not like operator, equal operator. Okay, like that we can use many operators. Let's see some examples. Okay, so select star from product. Okay, select star from product. So it is going to give all the products, but I don't want all the products. I want write the where condition where. So if I say select star from product, how many records I will get it? So let me use the record count. COUNT count of this one. So we have these many records. 4,414. So I don't want all the records. I want to write the where condition. Where product code. Product code like, okay, percentage 011 percentage. Then colon. So now see how many records we are getting. So we are getting only 6 records. We are getting only 6 records. So you can very well use the star now because it's very less count. You can very well use the star now. You can see like this. Okay. So like this we can use the, you can also say not like. Okay. It's a reverse. So earlier we used to get how many? 6 records. Now not like means 414 minus 6. 414 minus 6 how much? 414 minus 6. Okay. Sorry, 4414, right? 4414. 4414 minus 6 is nothing but 4408. So it's matching. So like this we can use the like operator. By the way, if I am using this like this, what is the meaning? Anyone? So if you see I use the percentage, then 011, then I have used the percentage. So what does it mean? Anyone?
Any number of characters before and after that.
Sorry?
Yeah, it can be any number of characters.
So what is the meaning of this in the MS Word and all, sorry, in the DOS and all, we have this percentage, all those things, right? So these are called what? What is the name of this percentage and all?
Wildcard characters.
Excellent. These are the wild characters. Now, what is the meaning of percentage here? Percentage means I can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything, but I should have 011. After 011, I can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything. That's what the meaning. Okay. So before 011, I can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything. After 011, we can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything. That is what the meaning. Now let's see example. So I said product code like percentage 011. So therefore, if I go and observe the product code, okay, this is the product code. You can see there is a 011. You can see there is a 011. You can see there is a 011. That's what I am saying. Before 011, I can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything. After 011, I can have any number of characters and those characters can be anything. Like this, I can use the like operator. Okay, you can also use null, is null, not null, all those things. Okay. Okay, product code is null. So I don't think so. We have the product code is null. That's why it is showing 0 records. Product code is not null. It is going to give all the records. It is executing. Product code is not empty, right? That's why it is not giving any records. Now you can see it is giving all the records. Instead of the product code, you can use the name. Name can be empty. So now it will give less records. You can see how many records it is giving. Earlier we used to have 4416, right? It is giving 4410. So like this, you can use null, not null, all these operators. We can also use the AND. So for example, product code, okay, like percentage 011. So with percentage 011, we got 6 records, right? You can see we got okay, sorry, let me use the count. Okay, then use the percentage here. So I got the 6 records. Now I'll use the OR condition, or product code. It is similar to your Oracle, or product code like percentage 02 percentage. So that means my product code is like this, or my product code is like this. So if I just use this, I got the 6 records. Now let's see how many records we are getting. We are getting 242 records. We are getting 242 records. So like this, we can use the operators. Next, we can also use the order by. Okay, so we can also use the order by. Let's see the example for order by. Let's see the example for order by. Let's take the example of here product code. Okay, product code. Okay, so order by code. Product code comma product name. Let me use product code comma product name. So order by code. So now you can see order by code means this is a. So if I am not using order by code, observe the results. So this is the results I have. So it is giving 3 something, then 2 something like that. So if I use order by, then you can see the results. It is giving all the ascending order it is giving. Okay, if you want the descending order, you can use DESC after that. Now it is giving in the descending order. So ascending order by default. If you want the descending order, after the query, you can use DESC. After the query, you can use DESC. Like this, you can use the where condition, operators, math functions, like operators, null operators, all these things, whatever you have in the Oracle, all those things will work. At least I did not see a scenario where it is not working. Okay, I did not see a scenario where it was working, and I did not see any complaints also like that. Okay, next, one important point what we need to understand is, this is very much important for the performance perspective. This is very much important for the performance perspective. We all know that we have a product table, right? From the product table, what table we have this is the product item type. Assume that with the product item type, we have 400 records. So from we extended the product item type and we created a new item type. What is the name of it? We extended the product item type and we created a new item type. What is the name of that?
RRS training product.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so we created RRS training product. Okay, RRS training product. So assume that with this we have created 50 records. Assume that we have using that we have created 50 records. How to create with this I already explained. Then from the product, you also have apparel product, variant product and all. Okay, let's say variant product. So with this, assume that we created 100 records. Okay, with the product, we created 400 records. With the training product, we have created 50 records. with the variant product, we have created 100 records. Now the point is, if I go on to say select star from product, if I go on to say select star from product, it is going to give the records from here. It is going to give the records from here. It is going to give records from here. So that means it is going to give total records of 550. So if I write select star from product, it is going to give 550 records. So that means it is going to bring all the inherited item types records also. It is going to give all the inherited item types records also. Now let's say in your project you are not using it. So let's say in the product page you are not using this. If you are not using this, why you need to get these 50 records? It's a performance, right? You only using the product table records. You only using the product item type records. You don't want the inherited records. You don't want inherited records. So lots of the developers, they just go and write this one. They don't observe that it is returning the inherited records. If you are not using the inherited records, don't load them, don't fetch them, don't get them. Because getting each record is costly, getting each record is going to take some time. Now I want to get records only of the product. I don't want the inherited item types records. Then what you can do is that select star from product and you can use this symbol. So it is going to give only 400 records. It is going to give that item type records. It is going to give that item type records. Let's observe once. Okay. So I am writing select star. Okay. From product. So it is giving 4,414. Now if I use this symbol, now you should get less. You can see you are getting only 531. So that means only 531 records are there, or records are created with the product. Remaining all created with the inherited item types. Inherited item types. Inherited item types. Okay, so this is very much important. If you want to get only that item type, don't want the inherited item type records. So you can very well use this one to improve the performance. Okay, next you can also see, so whenever you write the query, you can also see how much time it is taking, all those things here, execution time. You can also see how much time it is taking, all those execution time, and so on, so on. Next, okay, next is like this. We can use that operator, not that is this operator. I don't know. You can call whatever you want, but the situation is same. Now we can also use the joins. So what are the different types of joins we have? Anyone? We can also use the joins. What are the different types of joins we have?
Inner join.
Okay, excellent. Okay, inner join, outer join. Okay, so our inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full join, right? Okay, so inner join, left outer join, right outer join, and full join. Full join. So I think I no need to explain what is the meaning of inner join, left join, right join, full join, right? Anyone want to explain on that? What is the meaning of inner join, outer join, left join, full join? Anyone want it? Okay, so okay, so we have a slogan in Telugu, right? If you are calm, it's nothing but accepted. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see some examples with these joins. Let me say, take some queries and execute it. Okay, so let's look at this one please. Okay, you can tell me what are we trying to achieve here? You can tell me what are we trying to achieve here? Quickly please, you can tell me what are we trying to achieve here? You guys are there?
Yes. Joining product and category table, and out of that, which is having the common code.
Okay, excellent. Okay, look at here please. First, we are getting the product code from the product table. Then we are getting the category code from the category table. So this is nothing but the alias name. For product table, I am giving the alias name. For category table, I am giving the alias name. So I am getting the product code from the product table. I am getting the category code from the category table. Then I am using the left join by comparing product code, product table, product code. Is there any match with the category table, category code? If match is there, then I am displaying with the left join. Otherwise, no. Let's observe here. Let's execute this one first. So if I execute this one first, see how many records we are getting. So we are getting all the product records. So 4414 we are getting. Now let's execute this flexible search query. So what is this flexible search query? Get the category codes from the category table. Get the category codes from the category table. We have 1234. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number is good. Okay. Now, what are we trying to do? So we are trying to get the category codes. We are trying to get the product codes, and we are comparing. Is there any product table, product code matching with the category table, category code? If yes, we are taking the left side records, and you can see how many you are getting. So you are getting all the records because there is no, it is a left join. So if you use the right join, so right side nothing is there matching. So you can see right side you have 1234. So like this you can use left join, right join, outer join, full join like that. So let's take one more example. Okay, let's see this example. You tell me what are we trying to do with this? Anyone? What are we trying to do with this? What are we trying to do with this?
You are trying to get the primary key of products from the product table and as well as generic variant table.
Okay, so basically we are trying to get the PKs from the product table, where I am saying product code should be like this. Okay, I am saying product code should be like this. Now if I execute this, let's see how many results we have. We have 0 results. Maybe I'll change this one. I'll say product code like percentage 0, 1 percentage. Okay. What happened? Where product code like? Why it is not working?
You have to give that first prayer morning, like didn't end it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, correct. So now we got 16 records. So this query is giving 16 records. Okay, so I'll place in this instead of this because this is not giving any records. So I just pasted this one. Now you can see we have one more query. What is this query? So if you look at here, we are getting PKs from the generic variant product, but from the generic product, variant product that is joined with the product. How you are joining? Product table PK should be this generic variant table product code. Okay, and that product code should be in this range. Let's see, are we getting any records? We are getting 0 records. Maybe I'll change this also. Okay, like, okay, percentage 0 to percentage or 011 percentage. Like this I am writing. So it should give how many records? No records. Okay. This is variant product code, right? Variant product code. So what are the variant product codes we have? We need to go and check in the back office. Or we can say just for now, just a percentage 1. Okay. Now we getting 6 records are coming. Okay. Now let's take these results. Okay, let me replace this one with this. Okay, this is giving some records. This is giving some records. I am doing union all. That means I am just combining. Okay, so if I combine, you can see it is giving total records. It is giving total records. That is how you can use the union all. That is how you can use the union all. Then when you attended some interviews as a fresher or 2+, 3+, or when you are attending your BTech final year, especially the DBMS lab. Okay, in your BTech or MCA, when you attend the DBMS lab or when you go as a fresher interview, there is one famous question on the Oracle statements. What is that famous question here? Anyone remember? There is one famous question. So when you go as a fresher for interview, even 2+, 3+, when you go as an interview, when you go for interview, or when you are attending DBMS lab and all, there is one famous question. What is the famous question? Anyone? You don't have any famous questions asked in the Oracle subject? Oracle is not a matter whether you are a .NET or whether you are a Java, whether you are a SAP, whatever you are. Oracle is Oracle, that's it. It's not a matter which technology you are. Anyone?
What are the different types of statements in Oracle?
That is statements we already answered, right? So that yesterday only I answered DDL, DML, DCL. No, I said there is a one famous select statement. Let me tell that way. Famous select statement. Generally people ask. Okay, so you can see, so let's say I have an employee table. In the employee table, I have salaries. If I want to find out highest salary, what I will do? Select star max of salary from the employee table. This is how I write. But the question was, how do you find out second highest salary? How do you find out third highest salary? Do you remember that question? How do you find out, select or tell me the select statement to find the second highest salary. Tell me the select statement to find out the third highest salary, like that.
We have to write a self-join query.
Okay.
We have to write nested query.
Yeah, we have to write the nested query and all. So all this will work in the flexible search query also. If you want, you can see the examples are given in the notes also. You can just read whenever you get some time. Okay, I think here I have given with orders. Flexible search queries. Second highest to order amount, like that. Yeah, you can. Okay, so we are using the order by 2. Fetch first records. Fetch first 10 records. Fetch first 10 records means it is going to give from the results, it is going to give only 10 records. From that, I am giving order by 2. Order by 2 means second field. What is the second field in this? Okay. Select order. So you can see get top 10 orders. Get top 10 orders in a day. So there can be n number of orders, right? Get top 10 orders in a day based on what? Based on the price, based on the cart items, like that. Okay, if you want to get the top 10 orders, you can see select order code. Okay, then order ID, and I am using the count. Okay, and product sold. How many are sold? From order table and order entries table. And I am matching order table primary key is matching with order entry primary key. So if yes, we are finding the modified date, because in a day I want to find out. That modified date should be the date which you want. So once you get it, you can group by. Okay, you can also order by and say you want only first 10 records. So therefore fetch first 10 records, like that. If you want a specific time period, you can also mention the time period. Like this, we can use different SQL statements and so on and so on. Different SQL statements and so on and so on. So now we are discussing about the flexible search queries, right? There is something called saved queries. Let's understand what is the meaning of saved queries. So this is one of the common question asked in the interviews. Can you explain the saved queries, or have you created any saved queries? Okay, so what is the meaning of saved queries? Let me explain. So let's say example, I want to find out what are the products which does not have the image. Okay, our business want to find out. Okay, business want to find out what are the products. Okay, business want to find out what are the products which does not have the image. So then what they need to write? They need to say select, okay, star from product, okay, where images are there in the which column? Let me see. Select star from product, right? Okay, so for images there is a column. So there can be a product without image, right? So business want to see, is there any product without image? Okay, so there is a column called gallery images. Yeah, gallery images. So therefore, where gallery images is null. So this is what they need to write. See, the question is, business want to find out what are the products which does not have the images. Then if they write the query like this, they get the results. But can you ask the business to go and write this kind of query and to find out? Okay, business requirement is they want to find out. Business requirement is they want to find out products which does not have images. So if they write this query, okay, if they write this query, then they will get the results. Okay, they will get the results. But the question is, can we ask business to write this and get the results? Can we ask business to do this? Can you ask?
No, sir, no.
No, we cannot ask, right? See, if you are asking business to go and write the select commands and find out what you want, then they get frustrated. So therefore, it is important for you to, this kind of important statements, you can create as a saved query so that they can execute whenever they want. These kind of important statements you can collect from the business. These kind of important requirements you can collect from business. This kind of important requirements you can collect from business and create saved queries for them so that they can execute whenever they want. So that they can execute whenever they want. Then how do I create this kind of query? Okay, how do I create this kind of query? Saved queries. So if you want to create the saved queries, okay, go to the system. Okay, there is a saved queries. Go to the system, there is a saved queries and click on plus symbol. First, let me check is this query is correct or not. Otherwise, we will not get the results. Okay, this is correct. So we are getting the results. How many results? 2,822. Yeah, we are getting the recall. That's correct. So saved queries. Now you can go and mention time. Those are all not a matter. You can just select whatever time you want. And identifier, you can give triple RS saved query. Triple RS saved query. Saved query is what? Products. Find products without images. Find products without images. Okay, now what is the query? This is the query. Okay, then result. So this query will give what kind of results? Tell me. This query will give what kind of results? Anyone? This query will give what kind of results? This query will give what kind of results here? I just executed, right? This execution is going to give again products, right? So therefore, results return is products. Okay, results return is products. Okay, so results return is product. So this product is going to return the results, or that query is going to return the results, again products. So that's why I'm giving the result type is product. Say done. So this is created. Now let's go and search whether we have it or not. Okay, this is there. Now you can go here, and if you want to give the name, all those things, you can give the name. So name I am giving as, I'll just copy this and paste it. Okay, I'll use the spaces. Okay, I'll use the spaces. Okay, I'll use the spaces here. Like this. So if you want to give some description, you can give all those things, else you can leave it. And this is how you created the saved query. So these saved queries are stored in the table called saved query table. You can go and see there will be a table called saved queries. Okay, so all the saved queries will be stored in the table called saved queries. Yes, right? Yes, saved. Okay, SAVED, saved queries. So in this it will store. Okay, in this it will store. Now you want to okay, now so you created the saved query. Now you want to execute it, right? That is the saved, and we created the saved query for the product. We created the saved query for the product. Let's go and click on the product. Let's go and click on the product. So these are the product. For the product, we created a saved query. So in case of HMC, when we have HMC, this is where you see the saved queries. Now HMC is not available. Let's see for back office, where do we have? Okay, so there is something called system saved queries, and this is the saved query we created. But we need to execute, right? Let me log out and log in once. Okay, admin Nimda is the password. Okay, so now you can see there is something called saved queries. We don't find it. So this is the product. Yeah, it's not there. But if it is not there, we can go to the types and include it. Okay, we can go to the types. So triple RS saved query is something, right? Or sorry, saved queries. So the item type is saved queries. Okay, saved query. Okay, and execute it. In that, this one is the one. We execute this. let me see. In the 1808, I think they changed the place. Saved queries in back office, right? Okay, so in the, I think they changed the location. I'm not able to find. Let's see that quickly. So saved queries from HMC is directly used as a flexible search query and are not compatible with back office saved queries. So far, there is no way that old saved queries. Oh, okay. I think in the back office, we don't have that concept. In the HMC also, HMC only we had that concept. So let's see if anyone else is saying. In case of you want to search order by customer like something, just want to have a workaround. So there is no saved queries then. In the latest version, I think they did not give the saved queries. Let's search one more time to make sure I am giving the correct information. Saved queries in back office. Saved queries in back office. Saved queries list wizard. Okay, so this is what we have already. Saved queries, filters, okay, you can see basically in the HMC, it was a direct one. In the back office, it's not a direct one. I also face the same problem in the future. In this feature, no longer available in the back office. So there is some background, there is some workaround, but there is no direct way like what I explained. Yeah. So that's about this one. Okay, let's not spend much time, but you understand the concept, right? So in case of HMC and all, customer directly come to the product in the side, they can see the created saved query and they are able to execute. So in case of back office, I think that is kind of a deprecated. They did not give it. They have some indirect mechanism. Okay, that is what they are explaining. So that's about the saved queries. That's about this one. Now the next thing is that I said flexible search queries we can execute through code, right? Flexible search queries we can execute through code. So let's understand this code once. Okay, flexible search queries we can execute programmatically. Flexible search queries we can execute programmatically. Okay, so please remember this. Generally, flexible search queries we write in the DAO layer. What is the DAO layer? We will see layers concept this weekend. So remember conclusion one. Generally, flexible search queries we write in the DAO layer file. Generally, flexible search queries we write in the DAO layer file. Where will be the DAO layer file? Let's go to your software. Let's go to your software. Go to the bin. Go to the custom. Go to the training. So the DAO layer you can have in the core. The DAO layer file you can keep in the core extension. If there is a services extension, you can keep in the services extension. It's up to you. But DAO layer you can have in the core. So the first point, flexible search queries, generally we write in the DAO layer. DAO layer is available in the core extension. Okay, DAO layer is available in the core extension. Now let's see some of the flexible search queries. Okay, let's see some of the flexible search queries. Okay, you can see these are all the DAO files. Now any DAO file you open, you will see flexible search queries only. Okay, so default customer account DAO file. So you can see lots of flexible search queries. So these flexible search queries we write in the DAO file. This DAO file will be in the core extension or services extension. In the core extension or services extension. Right now you don't have services extension, but in the companies, some companies we create it to keep this kind of database interaction statements. These are the database instruction statements. These are the database interaction statements. To keep the database instruction statement, we keep the another extension called services. That service is mainly used to interact with the database. So that means execute the flexible search query, okay, execute the impacts and all. Okay, now let's come back here. You can see, there is a default customer account DAO. This is the DAO file. What is the DAO file? What is the DAO layer? All these things you will understand the layer concept. For now, you can just remember that flexible search queries we write in the DAO file generally. Generally, I'm using the word called generally. In your company, if someone is not followed, I'm not responsible for that. But if they follow, then they are following the good coding practices. Otherwise, they are not following the good coding practices. Okay, so, fine.
Chana, so if they will create the services layer once again, how can they create and how they integrate that one to this core?
I already explained, right? So how do you create the another extension? So like back office, you can create another extension.
And
so that time, using EXTGen, you can create it. Once you create the using EXTGen, that is a individual extension, right? Now you need to link with that, right? That is what your question.
Right.
How do we link the extensions? How do you create the dependency between the extensions? Anyone?
Just we have to add in the local extensions.xml.
Not local extension. Local extension is to enable the extension. But let's say from the core, I need to call from the storefront, we have a connectivity to facades. I told you. From facades, we have a connectivity to core. From the core, you need to have a connectivity to services. That services interact with the database. So connectivity is required. How do we do that connectivity? How do we create the dependency between the extensions?
Extension info.xml.
Extension info.xml. So therefore, go to the core, go to the extensions info.xml, open that. Let's say you created a services extension, right? So then you can say requires -extension name equal to, let's say you have created RRS training services extension. Like that, you can put the dependency so that that is not an individual extension, that is part of these extensions. Right? Fine?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a half minute. All right, sorry for that. Okay, now let's come back here. So therefore, generally we write in the DO file. DO file will be in the core extension or services extension. Services extension is not by default. So, but you can create to write this kind of services. Okay, very good. Now, so if you want to write the flexible search queries programmatically, you need to follow certain steps. These are the fixed steps. Step number 1, you need to write the query. Step number 1, you need to write the query. Let's see example of this query here. Okay, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of this query? What are we trying to do with this query? What are we trying to do with this query? Okay, look at here please. This is a query. And if you see here, right side is a query that I am keeping in the variable. That's it. Right side is the actual query. The highlighted is the actual query. I am keeping in the left in a variable. That's it. So therefore, if you see right side, what is the right side one? So you can see here, please. This is what the meaning of this query. Select. Okay. You are getting the PK. PK from where? From the order table. So for a database, it is an order table. For a Hybris, what do we have? For a database, it is an order table. For Hybris, what do we have? I already told you. So if we have table XXX, then for Hybris, we have XXX model, right? Same thing here. So therefore, select, I am getting the PK. PK from where? From the product table. So therefore, select PK, comma. Then you are also getting from the order table, you are getting the creation time, comma. From the order table, you are getting the order code. Then from where? From the order table. From order table. Then you are writing the where condition. Where, okay, where order code. Okay, where order code. You can use this in the brackets. So in the Java class, we need to use that append symbols. So that plus symbol and you need to append it, comma, all those things. Other than that, nothing. So where, okay, order code is equal to the code what you are passing. Let's say you are passing some order code. That code should match with this. Okay, and order version ID. So for every order, there can be some version ID that is not null. That should not be null. Like this, you are writing the query. This query you are keeping in a variable called this variable. This query you are keeping in a variable called this. The find orders by customer, that variable. You are keeping in that variable. Okay. This is the first step. Then second step is you need to execute the query. Second step is if this query, okay, look at here please. This query is taking parameters, right? Like store, okay, product code, order code, like that it is taking the parameters. So second step is set the parameters. Set the parameters. How we set the parameters? You can see okay, like this. So you can see query param.put. So you can put the customer, store, product code, all those things like this. Okay, so you can just create a map. In that map, you can keep all these things. This map, you need to pass it basically. Okay, so therefore, set the parameters. Query, set the params in map object, or put the query params in map object. Okay, that is the second step. If your query not required any parameters, okay, so what is the meaning of parameters? Just now shown. So you are passing product code. That product code you are passing and comparing here. So that means you need to input this product code, or you need to input this order code. You need to input this customer code. So this, all the inputs, whatever you want to put them in the map object. Put them in the map object. Finally, execute the flexible search query. Execute flexible search query. So that's the third step. So for executing the flexible search query, you need to use flexible search service. This is the service provided by the Hybris. You need to use flexible search service. This is the service used by the Hybris. Flexible search service. This is the service used by the Hybris. Okay. So therefore, flexible search service, you can pass search unique or just search. For this, you need to pass two things: your query and your query parameter map object. Okay. Dot search. So you can pass your query, which is there in the first step, comma. You can pass your map object, which is there in the second step. That's it. Then this will be executed. Then you will get the results. That results you can keep in the order model because you are getting the orders, right? Then you can pass that to the storefront. You can pass that to the storefront. So this is how we execute the flexible search queries programmatically. This is how we execute the flexible search queries programmatically. Okay, so this is how we execute the flexible search queries programmatically. That's it. So any questions on this? How do we execute the flexible? So this is the fixed procedure. Wherever you go, write the query, set the parameters, execute it. Write the query, set the parameters, execute it. That's it. There is no difference. Any questions?
After executing, where do we see the results?
So after executing, you are getting the orders, right? That orders you need to pass to the storefront. So that we will see in the layers concept. How do you get the results to the storefront? For now, we are just discussing only one piece called how do we execute the flexible search query. After executing, it is going to give the results. How do we use that results? We'll see in this weekend classes. Right?
This flexible search query is only for select, or it can be for use any update statements and everything?
Yeah, that is what I told, right? So it is like everything after listening, you are saying again, what is Rama, what is Sita? I told yesterday very clearly, flexible search query is nothing but select command, nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So you are writing flexible search query means you are getting the records, you are getting the records, you are getting the records, you are getting the records. There is no other purpose of the flexible search query. Clear?
Okay.
Ante, that's it. Okay, that is the answer. Okay, so if any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll move to the impexes.
And Chana, why you are writing query in the Java, like product
Java.
model? No. Earlier you shown in database queries, right? Like select directly you written
No,
like.
that is HSE tool. If you write this HSE, you need to do manually, right? Why do you want to do manually? You need to write it programmatically, right?
So can we use same query in the Java code?
This is just to verify. Let's say, for example, you have the Amazon. In the Amazon, you have orders, right? Order history. When you click on the order history, your program is executing the flexible search query and getting the orders, not you, right?
Yes.
Same thing here also. So in the My account, you are clicking on Get Orders or See My Orders. When you click on the See My Orders, it is coming here and executing this flexible search query and getting the orders. These orders are returned to the storefront. Then we are displaying it.
Oh, I mean, my question is, we can't use the that flexible query in the DAO layer.
We are doing DAO layer only. What is the question? Sorry.
No. See, in the HAC, you have shown on query, right? Like to select star from curly braces, you enter attributes, and after where you give an item type, right?
Right.
So in the same query, we can use it in the DAO layer.
No, the same query only we are using, but when it comes to Java, if you put as it is, it cannot understand. So you need to use these double quotes, append symbols, all those things. That's why if you see in the explanation, I said this is the equivalent to what we have written in the HAC. This is what we have written in the HAC.
Yes.
So you cannot simply write like this. So this query you need to put in the brackets. If you put in the brackets, then you will lose this feature. So to not lose this feature, then you need to end this. You need to append this, all those things with the double quotes.
Okay.
That is only the difference. Okay. Last question.
Sir, in the query, we are fetching 3 attributes like PK, creation, time, and code. But when the query executes, then we are storing the data in order model. Like in order table, there are many more attributes also that we are not fetching. Then what happens to those attributes?
See, if you see here, you are getting the PKs here, right? Where is that? If you see here, you are getting the PK. With the PK, you can get the remaining things later also. Okay, you can try to manipulate with the PK later also. As long as you have PK, you have a full control of that record. So if you don't want with the PK to control, then you can mention all the fields here. So you can mention the order model dot. Let's say order will have the price, right? So let's say total price. Like this, you can fetch all the attributes. But you don't need to fetch all the attributes. As long as you have PK, with the PK, you have a full control of that record. Every record will have one PK. So with the PK, you have a full control. That we will see.
Sir, even if we have PK also, we have to mention the columns if you want to use in the Java or something like that.
Once you have the PK, with the PK, you will be able to get all the information. You no need to specifically get all the columns, like what you have in the Oracle. See, please remember this. This PK is not same as Oracle PK. Oracle PK is different. Hybris PK is different. I clearly mentioned. So this PK, whatever you are seeing in Hybris, this PK is used for Hybris internal purpose. Every record in the database will have unique PK number. Every record, forget about whether it's a product table, category table, order table, whatever it may be. Whenever you have a record, there is a unique PK number. This is not the PK of Oracle PK, what you are talking about. This is the Hybris internal PK number. With each record will have its own PK number. With that PK number, you can control or you have a full access of that particular record. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Jenna, let's stand up on doubt. See, why you are unnecessarily getting all the data? Let's assume I need only name of the product. So through PK, we can get the all the data of like remaining fields name also, remaining fields data also. So that time it is called the performance issue, right?
Don't get it here. You can just say get the PKs. Okay.
Based on requirement, what data we need, the data we will get.
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to the impexes. So yesterday also I highlighted, right? I am writing impex means what? We are writing impex means what? We are writing impex means what?
We are modifying the data.
Okay, we might be inserting a record, we might be updating a record, we might be deleting a record. That is the purpose of the impex. We might be updating a record, we might be inserting a record, we might be deleting a record. That's the purpose of impex. We might be inserting a record, updating a record, deleting a record. So please remember this, impex is a file. It is a text-based file. Impex is a file, it is a text-based file. This impex you are writing in the text file that will be parsed, executed and understand by the extension called impex extension. So if you go to the software, if you go to Hybris, bin, go to the platform, ext, impex. So this is the extension which can understand the impexes whatever you write. This is the extension which can understand impexes whatever you are writing. Okay. Now, so let's not worry about think about too many things. Let's say I have a employee table with the employee ID, with the employee name and the employee salary. 3 columns. Now question is, I want to insert 100 records in the employee table. I want to insert 100 records into employee table. Tell me, how do you do in Oracle? Tell me, how do you do in Oracle?
We can use prepare statement, Channa.
Yeah, that is programmatically. Let's say, assume that, So prepare statement again converted into statements. But how it is internally? So like a insert into employee, okay? Then you will specify employee ID, comma, employee name, comma, employee salary. Then you will specify the values, right? Values. So let's say 101, RRRS, $10 is the salary. Like this, you will write 100 times. Even prepared statement also, you are going to write like this, but internally it will be converted like whatever I am showing. Okay, so let's say 102, Chenna, $11 is the salary. Okay, 103, ABC, let's say $12 is the salary. I'm not writing shake today because we want more salary. Okay. Right, now this is how we write in the Oracle if you want to insert 100 records. If you want to do same thing in Hybris, see, it is simple if you understand the basic logic. If you want to do same thing with a Hybris, then what you will do? You will write insert. Okay, what is the item type? So employee, semicolon. What are the columns? Okay, so columns are employee ID, semicolon, employee name, semicolon, employee salary, semicolon. These are the columns. Then you can mention the records, that's it. Then you can mention the records, that's it. Okay, semicolon, 101, semicolon, RRRS, semicolon, $10 is the salary, semicolon, 102, Chenna, semicolon, $11 is the salary, 103, ABC, semicolon, $12 is the salary. Like that you can do. This is the Hybris impact statement to insert 100 records into the employee table. It's a very simple one. It's a very simple one. That's it. So here you write this one every time. But here you write this one time. Next time onwards, you just specify the records.
So this semicolon at the first line, or it will be the starting syntax?
This is called impex header. It's not a matter here. If you are giving semicolon here, don't give here. If If you are giving at the end, don't give the starting of the record. Right? If you are not giving at the end, give the starting of the record. Right, Rakesh?
Yeah.
That's it.
So the strings will
This is called Impex header. This is called Impex header. Okay, this is called Impex header. Okay, now, so if you look at here, employee ID. Employee ID is, for employee ID, we have modifiers, right? What are the different modifiers for employee ID? What are the different possible modifiers for employee ID? Modifiers we already discussed. What are the different possible modifiers for employee ID?
Optional is equal to false.
Optional equal to false, very good.
Read equal to true.
Okay, unique equal to true. Okay, so then how do we mention? So the question is how to mention modifiers. So if you want to mention the modifier, insert employee. So employee ID in the brackets. Okay, in the brackets you can mention. So unique equal to true, comma, just unique equal to true. Okay, semicolon. Unique equal to true. You have one more, right? What did you say, Imtiaz? Unique equal to true?
Optional is equal to false.
Yeah, optional equal to false. So like this, you can write modifiers. Semicolon, employee name, semicolon, employee salary. Like this, we can write the modifiers for the attribute in the Impex header. So you can write with the comma, or you can just use this kind of syntax also. This is like this, you can write, or you can also write like this. Like this we can write, or we can also write like this. Both are same. Yeah. We can write the modifiers like this for the attribute, or we can write like this. Both are same. Okay, both are same. Okay, now the question is, if you look at here, so here I am using semicolon, right? Is a semicolon mandatory every time? Can I change something else? Yes, you can change. You can use hash. Okay, you can use hash. Okay, you can use comma also if you want. You can use hash, you can use comma like that. You can use other delimiters. You can use other delimiters also. You can use hash, you can use comma, like that you can use other delimiters instead of semicolon if you want. But generally companies use the semicolon in most of the cases. But if you want to change it, you can change it. Next, what is the general syntax? What is the general syntax of Impex? What is the general syntax of Impex? So the general syntax is, okay, item type, mode, space, item type, space, semicolon, attribute 1, then modifier 1 equal to value 1, comma, modifier 2 equal to value 2, semicolon, attribute 2, semicolon, attribute 3. So this is the general syntax. So what is the meaning of mode? Mode tells what kind of operation you are doing. Are you doing the insert? Are you doing the update? Mode tells what kind of operation you are doing. Are you doing insert? Are you doing update? are you doing the remove? Or are you doing the insert underscore update? There is one more thing called insert underscore update. So this is the general syntax. So what is the general syntax? Mode, okay, then item type. Item type means what we have in the DB design. Attribute name, okay, modifier, just now I told you. So therefore modes are nothing but insert, update, remove, or insert underscore update. Insert underscore update. So what is the meaning of insert? Means it is going to insert a record. Update means it is going to modify the record. Remove means it is going to delete the record. Insert underscore update. When can I use this? When can I use this? When can I use this insert underscore update?
To modify.
Okay, so if you are not sure this record is there already or not, if you are not sure this record, whatever you are passing, is already there or not, if there you want to update it, if not there you want to create it, then go with the insert underscore update. What insert underscore update will do? The specified record, if already there it will update it, if already not there it will create it. Okay, if already there it will create it, update it. If already not there it will create it. This is the general syntax. Next, along with the syntax, we also have the macro. Okay, along with this general syntax, we also have something called macro before this. Now let's understand what is the meaning of macro. In C language also we have macros. What is the purpose of C language macros? Anyone? In C language also we write the macros. Even in MS Excel also we have the macros. What is the purpose of MS Excel macros? What is the purpose of C language macros? If you know those purpose, same purpose here also.
To include the header files.
Macros are not to include header files. To include the header files, you have hash include.
Okay, how can you do it in C language without a hash macro? How can we include?
Sorry?
How can we include the macro in C language without a hash?
See, hash is a symbol. I'm not asking about a hash. I'm asking what is the purpose of the macro here. I'm not asking the syntax. In the C language, we are writing the macros. What is the purpose of the macros? That is what the question.
In Excel to repeat the text.
You want to write the macros in C language, you are going to use hash symbol. That is correct. If you want to write the macros in C language, you are going to use the hash symbol. That is correct. But I'm not asking what is the syntax. I'm asking what is the purpose of writing or when do we write the macros in C language?
In Excel for repeating the things.
Sorry?
In Excel we use macro for repeating.
Excellent, okay. So now look at here please. Let's take the example of C language. So I don't want to draw this one everything now because it's going to take 10 minutes to type it. So that's why I just taken the example. Let's look at here please. You are writing a C program. In the C program, you have something called English, French. This English, French, you can see you are using here, you are using here, you are using in this function, you are using here, you are using here. Assume that in this program, English, EN, and French, you are using 40 times. You are using 40 times. So you have coded everything. Tomorrow your manager comes, he said, why did you use chat code? Why you are not use the English? Why you are not use the French or French? Then what you need to do? You need to go on to change all the 40 places. You need to go on to change all the 40 places. That's the problem. Then how do we do it differently, this one? So what I can do is that, so if I feel that I am going to use this in many places, if I feel that I am going to use this EN and FR in many places, EN and FR in many places, then I can create a macro using hash define and give a variable for it and specify the value as whatever it is, English and French. Then this variable you can use in the program. That 40 places, you can use that variable. That variable meaning is EN and FR. Like this you can write it. Tomorrow your manager comes and he said, why did you use EN and FR? Please use full names. Then what you will do? You can simply come to this place and just modify ENGLISH and FRENCH French. That's it. Only one place you change it. That is the biggest advantage with the macro. So therefore, in a simple word, you have some piece of code which you need to use many places, which you are going to use many places. Instead of keep on writing, keep that in the macro. Instead of keep on writing, keep that in the macro. So that tomorrow if something you want to change, you can change it very easily. So in the C language, to write the macros, we are going to use hash symbol. In the Hybris, to write the macros, we are going to use the dollar symbol. Let's see small example. Let's see small example, okay? Okay, look at here, please. This is very store.index. Okay, look at here, please. Yeah, this is the best example. Now you can see these are all called macros. Let's take the example of Europe, not UK. Europe, not UK. So these are the values. And where this is used, so you can see this is used in the line number 26, line number 27, 26 and 27, 2 places. So instead of this, I can use all these values here. If I use all these values, tomorrow your company decided to take out 3 values from here, then you need to change all the places. Instead of that, create that as a macro, so that tomorrow if your company decided I don't want this 4 countries or 4 values, you can just come and delete here. So this is how you write the macros. After writing the macro, you can write the Impex header, then write the records. So 3 points basically. Macro, Impex header, then records. That's it. So we'll continue on this tomorrow. Okay. So that's all for today. We'll discuss this Impexes and try to complete. Not sure if we will be able to complete it tomorrow. If not, we can. We'll see the best. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye.